the expose on the killings in Nigeria, where Nigerian officials, Nigerian government, religious criminals, and others who are aiding and abetting this terrorism and jihadism in Nigeria to be sanctioned. So Nigeria is responding. First, the Tinubu's gang, they went to town to debunk the Christian genocide in Nigeria. According to them, oh yeah, Christians are being killed, but they are also killing Muslims too. But the question they don't like to answer is that who are those killing them? Christians and Muslims in Nigeria, who are those killing them? The jihadists. So Nigeria's admittance that Muslims are also being killed by these terrorists in Nigeria is admittance of guilt to admit that, yeah, there is a genocide, but there are so many genocide going on in Nigeria. So as a government, the next thing is probably going to be like, oh, this is a call for action. No, we need to do something. But no, that's not what Tinubu's gang did. They decided to activate their trolls on social media. As well as those ones they hired sellers for Tinubu, people like Dani Bwala. So they went to town. They have been doing media tour while the National Assembly are also preparing to go meet the Americans in America to tell them that what they are acting on is wrong. Or maybe they are going to go to America and tell them that, you know what, you were wrong. Oh, it's not only the Christians that are being genocided in Nigeria, they are doing same to the Muslims. So which means Nigerians are being genocided by jihadists in Nigeria. So what are you going to ask the Americans to not do? That, hey, don't sanction us. You know, our problem is peculiar. There are so many reasons. So don't worry about us. Leave us alone because I have no idea their trip to America. So in all of this, 2 days ago, Dani Bwala, that's a Daniel Bwala, right? He was in France. In fact, last week he was in France. 2 days ago, he was also in France on this same subject. And as their modus operandi, their mode of operation, right, is to attack the messenger. The moment you kind of call them out, right, they will attack your personality. They attack everything about you and say, you know what, this person lacks the credibility to talk about this matter. But what happened to the real matter, right? No, it's not like that. It's just hearsay. The same way they have been trying to sweep everything under the carpet, and now they have serious mud under that carpet, which has now given an imbalance in the entire justice system of the contraption. So Daniel Bwala was with Sheung last night, where again he continued his media round to convince Nigerians that Nigerians are all right, you know, in Nigeria. And according to him, no matter what Ted Cruz and others are trying to push to punish them, sanction them, right? You're wrong, okay? Because there is premising their supposed bill in America. They're premising that on essay. That's what Dani Bwala told the show. But this is there's something they've never really said before. And it's coming from Dani Bwala this time around. And what is that? I have never seen them link this issue of America being interested in the killings of Nigerians in Nigeria. I have never seen them link that to the IPOB. Baba, they don't link them to IPOB. Dani Bwala, what did you do? You know, initially they said it was because Hitman went to United Nations to support Gaza and Palestine. They said that's the reason why Israel has been funding propaganda against Nigeria. That is why they are, you know, that kind of talk. But for the first time, this madman is now saying that the report They are reported about the genociding, the Christians being killed in northern Nigeria, especially northern Nigeria, where they are pushing blasphemy law as well, which is their Sharia law, right? They said the report, the organization where write the report is in Onitsha. Dani Bulaba, right? Because I don't think it would be interesting if they fail to link it to the Igbos. Nigeria is a place where we all know that Nigeria has one very big problem, and that is the Igbo problem. The political class are those who are driving these divisive rhetorics just for politics, and that's exactly what Dani Bulaba did in this chat. He's not going to be condemned, but I want you to pay attention to every word he used in this video I'm about to play you now, right? He's specifically doing everything, struggling to link this indictment on Nigeria, link it to the IPOB, so that it would make it look like, it is the Igbos now that are trying to say Nigeria is this or that. You get what I mean? It is always, they say, if you have no one to blame about Nigeria problems, anything that's going on in Nigeria, right? Typically, if you don't have anybody to blame, your government, your leaders, your crooked politicians, just blame the Igbos. It's so convenient. And somehow, from generation to generation, it seems to be very convenient. So our problem is, you know what I mean? That's what Bulaba did. Now let's go listen. As irritating and as it is, right? Let it be on record. There are those who are mostly like deflecting from the real problem because they have no intention of resolving it or fixing that problem. They would rather monetize it, weaponize it, and all of that, right? But not to fix the problem. So they will deflect and start pointing fingers because they have no intention of fixing the problem in the first place, or ever. Now listen to this.
Much indeed for joining us now.
Thank you for having me.
How damaging is Senator Ted Cruz's position? He's not only saying it, he's moved it as a movement of law for an act of parliament in the United States.
First of all, Senator Ted Cruz is having a declining popularity in the U.S. Because of some of the extreme positions he has taken in favor of AIPAC, which the MAGA base are not happy with him. People like Tucker Carlson, Candy Owens, there are quite a number of them who are not comfortable. So in a bid to revive his ailing political career, he decided to choose people of like minds to do that. But let me not push far in that regard and focus on the germane issue of substance. Senator Ted Cruz published on his official Twitter page allegation against the government of Nigeria. And if you look at that, you will see he said there is a genocide, there is a killing of Christians in Nigeria, to which public officials are either complicit or they are participating in it. In other words, he's trying to say that there is a genocide and the genocide is perpetrated by Nigeria government. Now, genocide, if you look at the very concept and definition of genocide, you know that it has to be a state orchestrated thing, or even if it is non-state actors, it has to be established. The second thing is talk about the participation of the government of Nigeria. He knows it is false, but let me tell you where the story is coming from.
Or maybe he doesn't know.
Let me tell you, the reason is because almost all of them base that position that they said on this report. This report was written by Inter-Society Civil Liberty and Rule of Law. They call them International Society for Civil Liberties and Rule of Law. It is founded in Nigeria and it is somewhere in Onitsha. Most of the references they made were in this report. Now, if you look at this report, which was first published in August, and then they updated it last month, September, you will know that this is a pure case of agenda, and it has IPOB backing. This report can be seen on their website, Inter-Society Civil Liberties and Rule of Law. Now, they gave what they call to be a report of killings in Nigeria. They said they got their sources from multiple places. They also said they relied on their previous archive in reaching the conclusion. If you look at the entire report, 70% of the cases of killing that they are referring to happened in 2015, 2016, and I think 2018. The reference they made to the killings in 2025, they said the report, they got them from Sahara Reporters, They got it from one civil society, and they got it from what they call open source. Almost all of the things that they were published, they were based on hearsay. Now, if you're writing a report, the little I know about people who understand what research is, you have to go to the root of the source. You have to verify the point. Nowhere in this report has he established one fact, that this report stemmed from a research by their organization. Needless talking about the people who fund this particular organization. But do you know one intriguing thing about this report? He has analyzed every killings in Nigeria. There is one killing that he refused to acknowledge. And in fact, he even said that all of the killings of priests, the citizens of the southern eastern Nigeria, he said they were perpetuated by the Nigerian security forces, Nigerian crack team, and Nigerian intelligence officers in the pretext of fight against IPOB. Then in that report, he came to that very, very important point here, where he said, all of these have seen reckless whatever, and that the premise for which there is false labeling, mass criminalization, class stigmatization, and here's a conclusion, is premised on two things. Number one, that since IPOB and its leaders are followers of Jewish or Judaism religion in the East, while white clothing Christian religionists and their churches somewhere in the Southeast, that they classify this IPOB because they look like they are Jewish people, and that is why they are killing them in the Southeast. He said, nowhere, like I told you in this report, where he will say he admits of the fact that there is any killing in the Southeast and that the killing was perpetrated by the IPOB or Eastern Security Network. This is the only report the senator relied on. Meanwhile, there have been reports by Human Rights Watch, a report by Amnesty International, United States Institute of Peace, and all other allied reports on insecurity in Nigeria. Not a single one referenced any form of insecurity as religiously based killings in Nigeria.
So there is a concern, though, because where the fire is originating from does look like it's Nigerians who have instigated this, and there are those who say they have directly been impacted by the killings in Nigeria. Right. For example, July this year, some Nigerians, some of them who are from Benue State, right, they had a protest press conference in Washington, D.C. Right. And now we're even hearing that Makoribio is supporting this move. And they said that there is a genocidal attack in their land. Some of these people, and I would say after the Yewata attack, those who have risen up to say it does look like a coordinated attack against Christians, because most of the people that were attacked, churches were attacked, the people that were attacked, most of them are Christian. That it looks like a coordinated attack. Nigerians in the United States seem to have fueled or instigated it.
So there are three things you've mentioned here. Number one is the group that went and protested. Number two, the issue they presented to the congressmen. They are fabricated and half-truths. Yes to the fact that there have been killings. No to the fact that the killing is because they are Christians. You see, because anywhere a crime is committed, the tribe or
now, this is how they operate. So those of you who are very much interested in the truth, not just their lies. When they started their propaganda of IPOB killing people, it was after they launched their Operation Python Dance, until an independent body actually investigates the atrocities committed by Nigeria. They sanctioned killings in the eastern part of Nigeria. The number of people killed, the number of those they arbitrarily rounded up and locked up without trial in the name of clamping down on the IPOB. It is only you, the dumbos in that contraption, and your supporters elsewhere that believes every of this their media orchestrated, pushed lies. The rest of the world knows better. The Anebu Laba spent about 6 minutes to try to link the report that is very much in the open, all the killings in the middle belt of Nigeria, right? The mass killings, the burning of churches, the killing of reverend fathers, pastors, and the rest of that are very much before the Congress of America for years now. And the really recent one, where one bishop or so led the delegation from Yewata and others, right? Led the delegation to the same American Congress to tell them, after submitting their plea for government's help, like, please help us, they are killing us in Nigeria, right? The man also read his own personal presentation on behalf of the victims of these killings. He's a bishop. The Bwala blanked all of that out. And he started talking about a something liberty, civil liberty, Patterson organization that is based in Onitsha. Onitsha is in Anambra State. You know where that is going? Peter Obi. Here you get. Because they have been telling themselves that, you know what? Yes, there are killings. But anyone that is trying to label the killings religious, they are our enemies. And you know what they are trying to do? They want to call America attention so that they can remove Tinubu in 2027, not to address the problems, not to address the killings. They are not interested. So they are spin masters. Let's go and spin it. Let us go and spin it. Let's go and change the narrative. Let us go and deflect it. Because they have no intention of actually ending the terrorism. No. The rest of the world sees what's going on in that contraption. Where the vulnerable communities that comes under the attacks of these terrorists are left for us, the mercy of these terrorists, until they are gone. And then the government will come and they will start arresting the young people that survives this attack from these communities because they don't want them to have a reprisal attack. Then the next thing they are talking about, peace, peace this, peace that. So a government that says, oh yes, there are killings, because they are unbothered. Killings. You know what that means? And we are talking about hundreds and thousands of people losing their lives in the country. But those things, governments are more concerned about what the rest of the world sees them as. Now they are struggling to make you, that is pretty much endangered in the contraption, to believe that some of your enemies from outside. Oh, it's not finished though. He went on to say, oh, there are external factors that are the typical thing that me and you will say, or somebody in government who was supposed to tell you that, listen, we have had our challenges, all right? But this is what we have done. This is what we have done when it comes to this issue of security and protecting the lives of the people. And you can at least attest to this, No, they have nothing to show you other than propaganda to make you believe that. Now, don't worry, since it never happened to you, maybe it is not even happening. Bwala continued, as annoying as it is.
The tribe or religion that is predominant in that place will be the most casual. You will see the most casualty there. In the same way you see in Zamfara, in Sokoto, in Katsina, in Kebbi, where these bandits have come and killed people, abduct people, majority of them are Muslims. So when you go to Benue and Plateau State, where predominantly they are Christians, when these things happen, the most of the casualty will be what? The Christian people.
Could it be, sir?
But let me tell you this one. Recently, there have been arrests of individuals that were fomenting crisis in Benue. Guess what? They were flown in the public media. Some of them are Christians. So some of the places, the crisis there, they ask their governors will tell them, because governors receive intel report. It is not because they are Christians. Either it is based on land grabbing, cattle rustling, cattle this, whatever it is, that is the component. That's why United States Institute of Peace never mention religion. So when you go to the United States and you push religion, that you are being persecuted before you are Christian, to me, is a mischaracterization of the real issue.
What is the implication of Nigeria being designated as a country of particular concern?
Well, if a country is designated as a country of particular concern, what happened is that that country is likely to come under sanction. And the sanction can be either of these four. It can be on travel ban, it can be embargo on the sale of arms to you, it can also be trade-related embargo, where there is this tariff or whatever trade restriction. And it can be the fourth one, I think I can't remember, either of these four. can happen to you. Now, some of these Nigerians who are overzealous and are wanting this thing to come on Nigeria because either you are in the opposition or you are even a pastor, you feel that this thing should happen. If the embargo or ban is placed on Nigeria, maybe you've been going there to preach. Nigerians can't go to America. You know, recently, Donald Trump banned certain countries where people from those countries can't go there. So you have to know, if you are somebody that travels abroad for what, it can be religious, it can be trade, it can be business. If a sanction is placed on you, that is likely going to affect.
But there are those who will say the Tinubu government has to do a lot of work because these things are being instigated by Nigerians.
So let me tell you why lately Nigerians have been crying for long about insecurity. They've been pushing this issue of religion, say, for a long time. But these guys in the West,